You ever see a headline with some massive dollar amount and just kind of wonder what's the real story there? Well, today we're going to do exactly that. We're going to take apart a single $33 million deal to get a peek into the super fast-paced and honestly pretty fascinating world of specialized real estate finance. Yeah, $33 million. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That is a serious number. It's the kind of money that doesn't just build buildings, it can literally shape entire communities. But a number this big, it's never just a headline, right? It's always the start of a really interesting story. So what does a loan that big actually build? What does it really take to get that kind of money? And what do you get at the end? Let's go from this abstract number to, well, to the concrete reality. All right, so where does this whole story kick off? Well, it's not in a bank vault or some boardroom. It actually starts with the blueprint for a whole new community. And this isn't your average housing development either. Nope, this is part of a huge trend that's really shaking up the real estate world right now. It's what's called a build-to-rent community. Okay, think about it like this. You get all the perks of a single-family home, the space, the yard, the privacy, but you also get the flexibility and professional management you'd find in a high-end apartment complex. It's kind of the best of both worlds, and this model is becoming incredibly popular. So, let's get specific. Our project here is in Glendale, Colorado, which is just outside of Denver. We're talking about a 170-home community that was just completed this year, in 2024. So this is a brand spanking new neighborhood, totally ready for its first residents to move in. And when you look at the amenities, the appeal is, wow, it's really clear. I mean, check this out. The developer didn't just stamp out a bunch of houses. They built a whole lifestyle. You've got everything from a resort-style pool and a pickleball court to a full-on fitness center and even a cyber cafe. The whole idea here is to offer amenities that can go toe-to-toe with luxury apartments, which is a huge selling point for attracting stable, long-term renters. Okay, so everything looks great, right? You've got this beautiful finished property, but this is where the developer runs into a huge financial hurdle. See, when you build something this ambitious, it creates a very, very specific kind of problem. Let's just look at the timeline, because this really spells it out. The project kicks off back in 2022 with a $19 million construction loan. Fast forward to today, 2024, construction is done, everything looks perfect, but the homes are still in the process of being rented out. They're not generating their full potential income yet. And there's the dilemma, right? The big construction loan is coming due, but the cash flow just isn't there yet to qualify for permanent long-term financing. They're stuck. So, you see, the need has totally shifted. They started with $19 million for the building phase, hammers and nails. But now they need $33 million for the stabilizing phase. That means paying off that old construction debt and really just buying themselves enough time to get the place fully rented out. They are caught in a classic financial gap. So how on earth do you solve a problem like this? A traditional 30-year mortgage? That's not the answer. Not yet, anyway. What you need is something much faster, way more flexible. What you need is a bridge. And that is exactly what this is, a bridge loan. It's a financial tool that was literally designed for this precise scenario, to build a bridge over that gap, getting you from a short-term problem to your long-term solution. Okay, let's break down the terms of this $33 million loan, because this is where it gets really clever. First, it's interest only, which is huge. It keeps their monthly payments low while they're still finding tenants. It's got a 2-year term, so they have plenty of runway. And get this, the entire deal closed in just 45 days. That is fast. But maybe the most important feature of all, it's something called non-recourse. So what does that even mean? Well, a non-recourse loan is a massive layer of protection for the borrower. Basically, it means that if things go completely sideways and they default, the lender can only seize the property itself. That's it. They can't come after the developer's other personal or business assets. For a lender to offer that, it shows a ton of confidence in the projects. And that, right there, brings us to the final, crucial piece of this whole puzzle, the lender. I mean, who exactly is writing a check for $33 million on terms like these? Who provides this kind of fast, flexible, and honestly, pretty complex financing? You know, this quote from the lender's CEO, Martin Alex, really says it all. The key phrase here is returning client. See, at this level of finance, it's not just about crunching numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about relationships. It's about having a proven track record. That pre-existing trust is what makes a sophisticated deal like this even possible. And let's be really clear about something. A deal like this, with so many moving parts, that needs to get done in 45 days, that is just not a job for your typical big traditional bank. They're usually not built to move that fast or to offer such customized terms. This kind of thing, this requires a specialist. And EBSC lending is the perfect example of one of these specialists. I mean, this is not your corner bank. Their entire playbook is built around handling complex, niche financing. We're talking bridge loans, construction loans, even things like cannabis financing and hard money loans. They basically live in the spaces where traditional lenders just can't or won't operate. So what's the real story behind the $33 million? It's really this. Behind so many of today's most innovative real estate projects, you'll find these specialized lenders. They're the ones providing the quick, flexible capital that developers need to get through that super risky gap between built and stable. They're the essential and often totally invisible engine that powers so much of this development. Which really just leaves us with one last thought. This $33 million deal, when you get right down to it, wasn't just about a loan. It was about financing a whole new way of living. And it really makes you wonder, right? As the way we all live and the kinds of homes we want continues to change, who's going to be financing the future?